Hey folks, Dr. Grimes here. This is intended to be a very, very quick video to give you a broad brush overview of what we're going to do in class. This is human resource staffing. And the whole point of the class is trying to answer the question, how do we hire people or bring people into our organizations that's going to make us better as an organization? Finding the right people who will add to what we're already doing because they're ready to get started with what it is we're doing. We're going to try to accomplish that or answer that question by doing a couple of things this semester. So as a very, very fast overview, the things that you're going to hopefully at least be exposed to and hopefully get some experience doing well, things that can go onto a resume that you have done in your college work that you're prepared to do in the real world. One of the first things that we will do in this class is to allow you to pick a job, an entry-level job that a college sophomore could do, a warehouse clerk or a customer service representative or a receptionist or administrative assistant or things like that you don't have to have significant education or experience for. And after you've chosen your particular job, we're going to let you write a job description. You're going to research and brainstorm what this job will do. And you'll create a job description that lists the essential functions of this job. What is it going to do on a regular basis, every day, once a week? The most important things about this job. It's also going to have the context of the job, who you report to, who you supervise, what kinds of people you interact with, where do you go if you have questions, what are the expectations in terms of the physical requirements, being able to lift or stand or walk or concentrate or things like that, the air conditioning and loud noises and whatnot. What are the parameters of the job in terms of hazards, if there are any? And then what kinds of knowledge, skills, and abilities do you have to have in order to be considered for this job? So, essential functions, context, and knowledge, skills, and abilities are all pieces of that job description. Hopefully by the time we finish that unit of the class, which is going to be probably a month in all, you will be really good at looking at a job and figuring out what to put in a job description so that A, the manager knows how to evaluate an individual in that job, so that B, the candidate knows whether he or she is qualified for that job, and for C, the incumbent of that job to know what they're supposed to be doing all the time. Job descriptions are critically important. And so the first thing we're going to do is learn how to write those things so that they're accurate. Based upon that good job description, then the next thing that we will really do is to start thinking about, if I've got an opening for this position and I need to find somebody outside and put them into this position, how do I go about picking the one of several who's the best? And that happens in the form of interviews. So you will work on how to develop good questions for an interview. And I'm going to challenge you to be able to develop good enough questions to where you can do a 30 to 40 minute interview with a candidate. That may seem like a tremendous task right now, but if we do the questions right, if they focus on the essential functions and the knowledge, skills, and abilities, 30 to 40 minutes in an interview goes by really, really quickly. It's only when your questions are bad that you find yourself 8, 10, 12, 15 minutes and we don't have anything else to talk about. And if that's the case, if you're the candidate and they've interviewed you for 15 minutes and said thank you for your time, you walk out going, I didn't get this job. They don't even know who I am in 15 minutes. So we'll develop questions that can be used in an interview. We'll also develop what I call a matrix, which is just a mathematical checklist maybe of the things that you think are important, where you score your candidates to be able to make a decision. You can't come down to I feel better about this one than that one. That's not always defensible if somebody challenges it. If you've got a orderly, structured process that you went through in an evaluative type of aspect, it's easy to say, this is why I picked this one over that one, because these questions are important. This one did better, and here's the notes to show that. The job description, the questions, and the matrix. Somewhere in all of that, we're also going to do a sideline assignment where we create a recruitment plan. You need to be able to think, with this job, where's the best places to go to find candidates? It might be the Department of Labor, it might be an ad in the paper, or it might be Monster.com, or it might be strictly word of mouth. It could be any number of different things. There's lots of good headhunters, recruitment agencies, whatnot. There's lots of good sources, but not all of those sources are good for every job. Some sources are good for this job, but not for that job. Other sources are really great for that job, but not for this job. And you've got to be able to think through your options. If you were to make a presentation to management and say, we're getting ready to hire for this job, here's what I think we ought to do to find candidates. You ought to be able to explain, here's the 5 that are the best, and here's why they're the best. And here's some that just wouldn't be good at all, and here's why. That's part of that assignment. With all of that in mind, we're partnering with the business communications class. They're learning how to write resumes and cover letters, and they're learning how to do interviews. You're learning from the other perspective how to evaluate them when they've applied. So we'll let them sign up for interviews with you for your job. And then you'll actually, depending on whether you take this on campus or online, or depending on what semester you take it, you'll do video conference interviews with them, or you'll meet with them face to face in a room, and you'll go through your interview process. And so the culmination of this class is to conduct a series of interviews, probably 4 or 5 interviews, where you meet with candidates who are interested in their job, you learn about them, and then when it's all said and done, you use your matrix to decide which one you would hire. They get points bonus for doing this. That's part of their class to create their resume and their cover letter, and then you'll utilize that to figure out who to hire. And we'll get feedback from you about them, get feedback from them about you, and everybody will get grades as a result of all of this. And hopefully at the end of this class, what you'll be able to think back on and say, how am I different today than I was before the class started? What the things that will come to mind right away is, well, I didn't know how to write a job description in the past, and I feel pretty good about that. I didn't know how to really create good questions to use in an interview, and now I feel pretty good about that. Had I done interviews in the past, I don't know that I would have felt real comfortable making a decision on who to hire. But because of this matrix, now I do feel really good about that. And maybe if all of those are pretty good, the thing that's just going to blow it out of the water in terms of value for this class is that you're going to be able to say, I have done interviews before, face-to-face, sitting down across from a candidate, reading their body language, looking at their eye expressions, and all those kinds of things in an effort to figure out which of these 4 or 5, or put it in the real world, 10 or 12 or however many, is the best one, the most likely to succeed in this job. And you'll walk out of this class, hopefully, I am hoping and hoping and hoping, that at the end of this class, and as you graduate, walk across that stage, get that diploma, go out in the real world, and somebody says, you know, was there anything you did in college that was really useful? You'll go, yeah, HR staffing. I mean, right off the bat, I know that one. It's got value that I can use in the real world. It doesn't matter whether you're an HR manager or whether you're a manager somewhere else. You're going to have to hire people. So knowing how to do it's important. Hopefully you'll get some real good skills out of this that'll make that job easier. I'm looking forward to it. I hope that you are too.